I am live a little bit early today. I'm just wanted to sort out some other technological things. Basically, I want to make sure that everybody could hear me and that everyone will be on board. I am also in another direction on the actual screen. I am in the top right. The reason why I'm on the top right is because I am live a little bit early today. Want to make sure that everybody could see me, everybody could see what I'm doing. Also, I'm really going to be introducing a really big something that's going to be help us a huge amount. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Okay, this should be able. Okay, come on now. Okay, we got the video link. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. There is going to be a lot of information that I'm going to go through. There's also going to be a lot of information about just in general some of the things we're doing to improve and also just to update like Lego Robotics and also Lego Robotics Junior as well. So we're going to be going through a lot of the different topics in terms of what Lego Robotics is, what FFL is, First Lego League, and how we're going to actually do all of that. So, of course, as always, please keep the chat clear for actual questions. Keeping the chat clear for actual questions allows people who have questions about it can actually get those questions answered and also can really experience and with when we have a lot of chat in there, it's very hard to actually fit through and go through all the other things. So it is now 1 minute away from 1 o'clock, so I'm just going to start. One, by thanking you all for joining the Cathay School community on the STEAM stream today. Today's topic is going to be the First Lego League, or FLL, League discussion, and also the Everstorm systems. So, for those of you who don't know about Cathay School, it is an internationally recognized educational institute and community cultural space. During the regular year, throughout the year, we have programming and we have an early education center that our main core aim within it is to provide innovative and comprehensive educational experiences and opportunities for kids and families to be able to get them to actually be able to expand their knowledge and also maybe dive deeper and get help where they need to as well. And a very good way of thinking about Cathay is to think about it as the one-stop shop for exploring your child's interests, building up their strengths, and applauding their achievements, because any step forward we should be applauding. Okay, so just for the note, there are definitely a lot of people who have a lot more knowledge on FFL, and I already see in the chat that basically we have some people already familiar with the league, and they've had some experience with it. So this is kind of an introduction for some of our younger viewers who might be interested in joining the FFL League that we're running here, and also at the same time understanding what it entails and all the different things that come with it. So right now what we're looking at is a virtual robotics tool. This is going to highlight all the different things that basically you actually would have in an actual regular competition. And also, it's also highlighting some of the different events that FFL really engages students with. One of the things, basically everybody should have already gone to the FFL actual website. They are international. They are international in a very big way. Scientists actually we are going to be planning on submitting video submissions to places. So basically, we can actually get recognition and actually become an actual official location that they can have events once everything has become what it is. First things first is the FFL, their focus is to really engage kids in hands-on. And STEM is one of those kind of things which needs hands-on experience, but also at the same time they also really promote the actual collaborative aspects of science. Like it's one of those kind of things. It's one of those intangibles that go a tremendous way in terms of basically knowing how to work with people in engineering concepts and also engineering methods. As you can see, the tracks that they provide. We're just going to go through some of them. This is the latest track for the elementary level. So this would be with a Next system, which is different from the Everstorm system that we have. It's like an introductory system. There are going to be a few loud sounds, so basically don't worry about that too much. So basically this would be the actual system. You would actually be able to see like the actual course. This was what they had for like the elementary challenges. You have your line following. You can actually see what each task you need to complete is. Either you're going to get this obstruction out the way, so basically you're going to have to know what to actually add to it. They have plenty of actual tasks, and then usually during the actual time, you're actually going to be trying to learn how to actually navigate with the fastest time. So basically, yes, it would be very two-dimensional, but they would require you to build some of those blocks as well. It has got like draw power lines. It's like, okay, if you're going to take somebody to get rescued, this is like the elementary level courses. So basically, this would be the river, this would be the city. It really gets you or really introduces the concepts of civil engineering. Does anybody know what civil engineering is? Civil engineering, I don't see much happening in the chat. So yes, this is a course for the elementary level, and what you do is like this is actually a program. It's like this is something that basically we are looking into getting a bulk license so everybody can actually get it. You can actually get it for your PC or your Mac computer, and you would have like a trial license. The trial license is only like 16 days. So you wouldn't get to do that much with it, but it does give you the full robust tools. So basically you'd have access to a lot of the different information, be able to see if I press play over here, it now activates everything. So basically if I now want to get an actual robot, I can actually see my robot. I can see all the different devices that are already attached. It gives me a full 3D replica of what you would actually be building. Now, there are some other programs which I mentioned in the chat before that are programs that basically are free, like LDraw and also Lego Digital Designer, which for PC, there are absolutely no problems in terms of basically being able to download them and they work. Unfortunately, I was not able to figure out how to get those to work on the actual system that we have right now for streaming, but I do have a system that I am setting up, and so next week I will be sharing my screen, and basically people will be able to see what Digital Designer is and also what LDraw is on a PC, and basically and you'll be able to actually engage with that as well. LDraw is one word. LDraw is one word. Lego Digital Designer is separate words. So if I wanted to add on attachments, right now this is the elementary level, so they don't have a lot of other attachments to it. I could just hit stop, and then I can go back to the virtual worlds. Can everybody hear me? So if they, so there, what the Lego League does is they really push in terms of, okay. Yes? Hello? Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay, so everybody says that they can hear me now. Um, so this is the test track that a lot of our killer penguins have been using this year. So this is the track that they've really been able to explore. This is the track they've been able to use. They've been able to actually be able to participate in. So usually there'll be a clock, there'll be a timer. You'll be able to actually get scores in terms of what you're building, how are you using it, and everything else. So as I hit play, that's the timer. So basically, as you're building and making building choices, they would now look at some of those and they'll give you points. So basically, right now, I'm looking at my system. I know I need a color sensor. So I'm going to see where I can put it. I'm going to put it either on the right or the left. I'm going to add it. I get 10 points just with adding that system. If I feel that if I look at the map, it's like you look at the map and you see what you might need. So basically that's how they're scoring. If I need a lifter, I'm gonna see where can I put it that I still have available space. So I have space at the front, so basically you're gonna make that adjustment, you're gonna add it. And one of the things of why we're also looking at this digital tool is, one, how does this actually help us be able to do things in a virtual way? So basically when you're in competition where a lot of your pieces are just everywhere, you now have simulated this, so you have visual training for it. So basically you can really take advantage of it, you can make the most of it, and you can do well with it. So stop. I'm then going to go back to the virtual environments and then show you another course. So I'm going to get rid of the scoring system because I don't need that right now. I'm also going to get rid of my EV3. Then these are the simulations in terms of basically, these are not like the regular maps or stages, but every year they're going to be talking about different topics that within the scientific community are actually being addressed. Like they are taking real life challenges and giving you a tangible way of actually seeing, well, what are some of the challenges that you're actually going to be able to do. So basically, in some ways, it helps you build confidence. It helps grow your knowledge. So basically, you're in touch with what a lot of things are happening within the actual scientific community, and basically what on an engineering level is really helping you with as well. Like in 2016, there was a lot of things that were happening in terms of like animal allies. Basically, it's like, okay, well, what systems could we put in place? What engineering solutions could we come up with? With Lego Designer and also L-Draw, there was a lot of people who were able to submit pieces. They did stop support for the program in like 2016, but they do still support it. So basically you can actually submit things to Lego, and that's how they actually have some actual new Lego designs, which were done by people within the virtual world, and then they actually created those packages and released those packages. How it helps you do things in a virtual way is it allows you to be able to take advantage because the map is always going to be the same in competitions. And yes, we can run it as many times as we want. However, when you're doing it in a virtual way, it allows you to be able to take things apart, put them back together, and then see how you can stream down your resources without having to fight over resources. Because we have like kits, but then organization is something we are working on in terms of after we use a kit. And that's something you're also going to try and implement. So basically also work on our organization. But when you don't have parts, you can find out what other parts can work. Next week I'll definitely have the PC set up, so basically you'll be able to see all the different kind of parts that you have, and you can actually make documentation based off of those virtual worlds of what you can actually have as a checklist when you're actually looking through the pieces, as opposed to, oh, this looks right. You could actually now virtually look at a piece and say, oh, well, this actually makes sense. This is what I want to actually participate in. This is something that I could actually do. So like, these are some virtual worlds where you actually, obviously, all of our students have done like the wrestling, sumo, and those kind of competitions. Obviously, this has upgraded quite a bit. So some of the other popular tracks, and also just the Lego League in general, is like the elementary courses have evolved. As you can see, there is like the earlier ones, it's very, very simple. Then as it becomes more complex, they actually raise the bar and heighten the bar. Like some of them would be time challenges. Basically, this is a map where basically it's more of a timed challenge. It is similar to a tournament in terms of you do have individuals participating, and however, getting points is not just about the science. Like that's something that is really important to note, is it's not just about the science. Like you could be facing off. Here's the start. You then have to go all the way through, and then you have to go hit each one of the colors, and then basically make sure that your color sensor picks out the right colors. So basically, yes. And this is something that they actually used, like to actually help with some of the progressions that they've made in terms of actually grocery stores, like in Japan. They have actual robots that can actually go into a store, pick out all your groceries, and then it gets delivered to you by an actual robot that's programmed to come to your address and your location. These are some of the things that basically they've taken away from just these contests. That's why when they're at these qualifiers, there are recruiters who are looking at some of the people who are using the most innovative ideas. And this platform allows you to be able to see, oh, okay, so this was something that was tackled in like 2018. If you've looked at the news, there's a tremendous amount of things happening in terms of basically automation and delivery systems that the first Lego League has been able to be a part of, in terms of basically providing ideas, and then basically you get recruited and they're like, oh, we would like you to be a part of this and this team. We'd like to see if you'd be interested in handling these and these other kinds of projects. Each one of these is very good in terms of basically, since you now have, and you can look up information, you can now actually get information that is now showing up from these actual contests, like in terms of basically being able to go to the cinema and auto driving cars. They've actually tested it out on a very small scale Lego has been a very huge part of that as well. We are partners with Microsoft. Microsoft did help develop this program as well in terms of basically auto driving cars, and they also very big in terms of basically like how do you create virtual experiences. Like if you see here, you've seen automated robots where a person is inside the screen, but then the camera is actually what's helping them participate within that space. So there is a tremendous, yes, you get to, it's like the actual final tournaments are held all around the country. I know last year there was also a Lego League, because not all of them go to the same place. There was one which basically at the previous school I was at, the team won their qualifiers and then got to actually participate in Houston in an actual bid as well. They didn't necessarily do tremendously well there. However, it was still a nice trip. It was all paid for, and it was something that basically they could enjoy. And they also got to see some really cool science things as well. So, what type of experiences has everybody had with Lego and also with Lego Robotics? Yeah, they are legit live competitions. We did put a post. People did go to see recruiters and everything else. So it is legit competition. Okay, so Tiger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you were on an FFL team, what were some of the things that helped you train? Did you use virtual robotics tools or no? Building is one part of it, and that's very important. However, and something that's very important when we're now making it more advanced is being able to cooperate as a unit. Because you can be the best builder, but if everybody has different ideas, then it pushes everybody in different directions. This was the space one. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of things. Basically, just if you're looking at it from another perspective, there's just a lot of really cool stuff. Like right here. They made it very specific. You drop in. You even have the you have the lander. They had to engineer every single one of those parts. You have the solar panels, where a lot of power. Then they had how you can pick up a ball. So all of these things are what you needed to build before. So basically you would have a very clear idea. With a virtual environment, sometimes you can even see some of the things right away that you would actually face. I need to attach it to the right thing. Okay. Okay, there we go. Need to add attachments. Okay. Should give me some movement now. Now, I have not been able to get on this system to get it to be able to program to actually be able to do lifting. On the PC version, I made some headway. Next week, it'll definitely be in full effect, so you'll be able to see everything moving and everything actually engaging. It operates very much like the actual system. As you change the controls around, it actually gives you different effects. There are no pre-programmed programs on the brick, but you can actually use the Lego Mindstorms Education Edition to actually program it. Bluetooth would be able if we had a brick, but then if we had an actual physical brick, but then the physical brick wouldn't interact with this program. see what the actual connections are. Now, as you add on other attachments, there'll be other reactions. Then you can decide on the ports that you want them to express from. All of this is very similar to what you would actually have with a brick. Yeah, well, no, this Lego satellites, there's not catapults. These are all just from the space actual map. And as you can see, there was a time limit. You had about 2.5 minutes to accomplish certain tasks, and then you would have additional time added on, obviously. So it really does a very good job of virtually simulating what an actual competition would be, some of the pressures that you'd actually be under in terms of trying to perform and everything else. So has anybody gone to the website or no? The FFL website. So right now what I'm going to show you guys is what you get as a pamphlet in terms of actual competition once you're an actual official team. It'll go over what are the main missions. So basically, virtually, when you're now actually going on to the actual course, you actually know how many points you can actually get for each different mission. Something to note that's very important is this year we had a few people who are of younger age, and there was a little bit of a struggle because basically there is a difference in terms of communication, and so there was some lost points. So basically each flag, it talks about what each flag counts for, what each mission does. You'll have a total of you won't be able to get through all the missions. And basically, usually there's 14, sometimes there's a little less, sometimes a little more. So there is a lot of things that, so when you're doing in the virtual world, you'll be able to find exactly the pieces. And then sometimes if you actually make modifications that actually improve how you can accomplish a task, then you can actually get additional points. So each one of these things will be built on the actual stage, and then you'll be able to gain those missions by either using a drone or basically solving the problem as guided. They hand these out. However, sometimes what happens is, well, it's like we get the guides, but then doing the tasks one by one, it's hard to actually build up those pieces. So that's why this is a very useful tool, and that's something that we're going to be implementing in the coming months, and also especially with the new season that we're going to be trying to be a part of as well. Now you can build, we are going to have a program that allows us to build attachments. So we'll be able to have other attachments that you can actually put onto them. You'll be able to track all your ports, what's an input, what's an output. And so basically you understand more clearly like where your sensors should be and how you can get the best result. Because during competition, you actually don't have that privilege of being able to pull them up and just guide them where you want to. Does anybody have any questions so far? Zhang, in terms of your question, like what this is this is basically just a demonstration of showing you some of the tools that we're going to be implementing and using for like Lego. And there are some other things like a Lego Digital Designer. Yeah, I'm going to the FFL site. I just need Chrome to cooperate right now. So what we'd be participating in would be like Lego League Junior and also Lego League. They are the technical challenges, which we can be a part of, but that depends on multiple factors. Now, as we develop, we'd obviously be we'd be doing some more high-level things, and we might even get into more high-tech technological things in terms of actually building it up like from an Arduino system. An Arduino system is a system where you actually build prototypes using various parts. If everybody's gone to the actual page, these are some of the events that we could actually participate in. And we'd be able to get mentorship and just spreads, and then just really does a tremendous amount for us and also for you in terms of basically being able to be seen by a majority of the other individuals. They are in conjunction with Inspire. Inspire is one of their partners. They're actually called First, and then basically First Inspire is just is a child of the actual overall company, which is called First. So basically, First is not just specifically like that's why they have familiar things from both. As you can see, children your own age, there are like 40,000 participants. The software that Arduino uses is C, or the actual coding language. It is a higher functioning language where it has syntax and everything else built in within the program, so you don't actually have to build every single little step for something to function. You don't have to select a country or region. That's kind of just to show you what is there. Like if you select America, it's going to show you the different leagues. As you can see, firstinspire.org, that's their organization. But if you just go to About, you're also seeing the broader picture as well. If you hit the flag, it then takes you right here, which a lot of our contests are for like higher level. Like we have Lego Junior, which you'll be able to qualify for, and also there is Lego League, which is basically our 4th and 5th graders could also participate in that. We're really pushing to get Lego Junior and also Lego League in there. The technical challenges, that's something that maybe for further down the line we'd be looking at, and basically something that a lot of recruiters actually follow you all the way through from K through 4. Now, the core values are very important in terms of how they actually, it's like one, you're going to explore, and then you explore new skills and ideas. Use creativity and persistence to solve problems. So yes, sometimes you may not necessarily be scoring the most points, but if they see that you're persistent and you're constantly trying new creative ideas to maybe solve the problem where you may not have parts, you actually can get points within that. They're rewarding effort. They're rewarding grit. Like I'm sure As you guys have found with some of our kits, sometimes you might be missing a part and you might not be able to get anything. I think he's saying clock. Actually, the clock is accurate. It's not in 1300 time. Unless, of course, you forgot to turn your clocks forward or back. Daylight savings changed everything. Inclusion means like infighting over what direction you want to go in is not necessarily going to get you the most points. Like this year, it's like we even had to acknowledge that there were a lot of moments that there were some points we missed out on because we weren't necessarily making sure we were practicing those ideals at the best of times. Now, the main difference between this and what we have in terms of Lego Junior is that Lego Junior, as you've all experienced, yes, we get to build, and yes, we want you to continue exploring building. However, what's different from this and the actual Lego Everstorm and Advanced that we're now building up is that Lego Everstorm and FFL is very much comprehensive. It's now going to really test your maturity and test your social skills. So you can have all the know-how, but then just as those actual values state, I mean, you have to be able to, we respect each other and embrace our differences. We are stronger when we work together. We enjoy and celebrate what we do. So basically the virtual allows you to be able to do a tremendous amount of things. And yeah, my clock is actually, you're on a delay. So actually you're seeing me in the past as opposed to the future. So this is the program that I was talking about before called Digital Designers. Digital Designers they haven't updated what they have yet, but there is a push to really get the ball rolling again. So basically we can see what it does and see what it's producing. But you get to do like a lot of things in terms of virtual environments. You can actually set up a whole bunch of things. Basically, you can actually save them. And as you can see, you have all these variety of options. Next week, we'll be exploring it. I will have a screen share, so basically people can actually build within the environment and actually be able to sit and get an actual end result. Because you can choose from this and a variety of other parts that are actually already readily available. These are made independent from Lego because it's such a tedious process to actually try to actually reproduce every single Lego block that they have. We are trying to become part of that network, so basically in some ways we can take advantage of a lot of the different things that they're actually presenting and also the things that they're doing as well. Now the participant rules they're fairly strict. I mean, there are consequences in terms of basically if we're not meeting deadlines, and also there's infighting and everything else. So that's why it's really emphasized that this is for this if you are a younger student, that you also step up in terms of understanding how to communicate, and if there's a problem that you also just come to the teachers, basically then we can also help you handle that as well. Digital designer works on PC. For now, they haven't. If you do have a Mac, there are Mac versions, but you would have to change your OS. That means your operating system. You'd have to go into your Apple Store, and you'd actually have to change that. We already have Lego Digital Designer. I'm just setting it up so basically next stream you'll be able to use it. And we also do have LDraw as well. Lego Designer, yes, you do have to design it. You do have to download it in order for it to work. Otherwise, it's not going to actually be able to operate. Does anybody have any further questions in terms of what Lego League is, how to participate, or how we're going to be participating, what you can do to prepare, and also the steps we're going to be able to provide you in terms of basically arming yourself for the knowledge so basically you can be able to compete or be able to get advantage that other teams have, that basically we're now going to be moving into that space as well. And What's presented is the World's Robotics Olympiad. That means on an international level, everybody will be able to see what you're doing. This would be the Arduino robotics system. Okay, if there are no questions, I'm now going to just wrap it up. And I think our bandwidth, or the bandwidth, is glitching, so it is now starting to strain on the entire system. But yeah, Arduino is a system that provides you with all kinds of different software, hardware. That is something we're definitely going to look at a much later stage, because it is very, very complex. And there are a lot of different parts. You need to have your coding up. You need to know what you want to code, how you want to code it. All those various things need to be in play. The Arduino Uno is right now the prevalent system that basically most prototypers and robotics people use, because it allows you a lot of versatility in terms of inputs, outputs, etc., etc. And it's an excellent, excellent way to learn about machining and a few other things as well. Okay, once again, so thank you very much for being here in the community. As I mentioned before, it's like you can learn in person in Montgomery County, Howard County, and you can get a discount for a STEAM stream, 18 and get an 18% discount off of our summer camps in Rockville, Maryland, and also Columbia, Maryland, as well as leave a like and subscribe. Okay, thank you.